Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a skill that is truly the bedrock of success in pretty much any job you can think of, professional communication. We've dug into an expert lecture on this and pulled out the absolute best lessons to build a simple roadmap, one that can turn your daily interactions into your greatest strength. So let's get started.
All right, I want to start with just a single number, 70%. Now, what do you think that could possibly represent in the professional world? Just let it sink in for a second. I have to admit, this number really surprised me when I first saw it, and I think it might just change how you think about your workday.
That's it. For anyone in a leadership role, a staggering 70% of their time is spent on communication. This one stat changes everything. It's proved that communication isn't just some soft skill you work on the side. For leaders, communication is the job.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with that 70% rule. Then, we'll break down the 3 pillars of all communication. From there, we'll get really practical with the art of managing meetings, and we'll finish up by mastering how to really know your audience.
So this isn't just about a number, it's about a whole new perspective. The 70% rule really shows us that all those emails, meetings, and presentations, they aren't just side tasks. No, they're the main way we actually push projects forward and, get things done.
Okay, so to get a handle on that 70%, we've got to understand the fundamentals. All their communication, every single interaction, can be broken down into 3 core pillars. Nailing these is really the first big step to becoming a seriously effective communicator.
And here they are, it's that simple. Written, nonverbal, and verbal. So that's the words you type, the signals your body is sending, and of course, the way you speak and listen. They might seem pretty basic, right? But let's look at the key insight from mastering each one.
So when it comes to written communication, the message here is crystal clear. Little errors, like the spelling mistakes they mention, they aren't just typos. They actually have a direct impact on your credibility, and they literally change how people perceive your message. Put it this way, clean, careful writing shows respect for your reader and for the topic itself.
Next up, nonverbal communication. As you can see, your body is talking all the time, whether you realize it or not. And the contrast is so clear, isn't it? An open, welcoming posture, that reinforces a positive message. But closed-off body language, like having your arms crossed, well, that can totally contradict what you're saying and create a sense of distrust. The real key is making sure your body language is always on the same page as your intended message.
And our third pillar, verbal communication. Now, this is not just about the words coming out of your mouth. It's about your tone, your clarity, how fast or slow you're talking. But, and this is crucial, the part a lot of people forget is the other side of that coin, active listening. Truly great communicators always try to understand before they try to be understood.
Okay, let's talk about something that, let's be honest, a lot of us dread, meetings. But the source material argues we should see them in a totally different light. Because when they're managed the right way, meetings are one of the most powerful tools we have for turning a bunch of scattered conversations into real, concrete action.
So the big question is, how do we actually do that? How do we take a meeting that everyone's dreading and turn it into a session that was actually worth everybody's time? Well, the answer's in a pretty simple 4-step framework.
And here it is. First, every single meeting needs to have one clear goal. What's the one thing you need to walk out of that room with? Second, build an agenda that serves that goal and send it out ahead of time. Third, only invite the people who absolutely have to be there. And finally, and this is a big one, never ever end a meeting without clear assigned action items. It's that simple, but man, is it powerful.
All right, now we're getting to a really advanced skill, knowing your audience. This right here is what separates just delivering information from having real influence. It's all about tailoring your message, so it's not just heard, but it's actually understood and then acted on.
This table just lays it out so perfectly. I mean, you would never speak to a group of technical experts the same way you would to project stakeholders, right? As you can see, with experts, you're all about the data, the precision, the facts. But with a broader audience, you've got to rely on clear stories and analogies to make those complex ideas stick.
And the big idea here is simple, but it's so profound. It really doesn't matter how brilliant your message is. If you deliver it in a way your audience can't connect with, it's a failed communication, period. Understanding their context, what they already know, what they need, that's not optional. It's absolutely essential.
So, we've walked through the 70% rule.
the 3 pillars, how to manage meetings, and why knowing your audience is so important. But knowledge is only half the battle, right? Now let's shift our focus from just learning these ideas to actually putting them into practice.
This is probably the biggest takeaway from the entire lecture. You can't just become a great communicator by watching videos or reading books. It's like any other skill, like playing guitar or a sport. You build it through consistent, intentional practice.
So here is the challenge. Don't try to fix everything at once. That's a recipe for disaster. Instead, just pick one thing we talked about today. Maybe it's writing clearer emails, or maybe it's setting a solid meeting agenda. Just dedicate 15 minutes a day to practicing it. That's it. That's how small efforts turn into powerful, lasting habits.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Out of everything we covered, what is the one skill, the one communication point, that you are going to start practicing and mastering starting today? Thanks so much for joining me.